What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal weekend. Wild card weekend. A lot of football on the next couple days, even Monday night. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be streaming the Bills-Patriots game. And hopefully this time next year, the Jets will actually be a part of this weekend, which will be a lot of fun. But, yesterday I started the whole free agency thing, going over the tight end group. And a couple different viewers were saying, listen, we can want whatever player we want, but will they come here? Is there still a Jets tax? And that's a great question because that's something the Jets have dealt with in the past, especially under Adam Gase, and especially when you're not going to the playoffs for a decade. So what's the state of the team right now? So you start with ownership. Is ownership respected all throughout the NFL? I think in the past they were meddling. I'm not a fan of the Johnsons. I mean, you've seen our shows. But the one thing that they always criticize is they always got involved in football operations. And last year, according to them, they kind of handed it over to Joe Douglas. Said, Joe Douglas, you're a football guy. You make football decisions, and we'll make the business decisions. Sorry, I can't talk today. So from the ownership perspective, they've spent money in the past. They're willing to put out big contracts, and they've given power to their front office, which is a good thing. So you go to the front office. What is the reputation of Joe Douglas? Well, last year he spent some money. He got Carl Lawson. He got Corey Davis. He seems to set a price for the guys he wants, and that's kind of stays there. But that's fine when you're trying to rebuild your roster and you only have so much money. This year he's got $60 plus million, and there's legitimate players out there that this team needs to get better. Like this, you're going into a year where you can't have band-aids and stopgaps and hold the fort guys. You got to add young players, legitimate players to this core to have this team take the next step. You can't be rebuilding for 10 years. Like this process shouldn't be a 5-year plan. You've got to take incremental steps every year, and this is that year. So Joe Douglas may have to change his approach a little bit. Can he go out? If you're competing with a team that has a legitimate championship caliber, resume, can you go toe to toe with them and get that guy to come here? So that's on Joe Douglas, and that kind of remains to be seen. I don't really have an answer for that. In the past, it's the Jets were a tough sell year one under Robert Saleh because you don't know what Saleh was, you didn't know what Zach Wilson was. So Joe Douglas had his hands tied a little bit. This year, it could be a little bit easier. What's the coach? Coach Saleh, first year, at the end of the year, you start to see the kind of coach he is. A very passionate guy, very intelligent guy, very well-spoken, always sticks up for his players, kind of a player's coach. And it's just, I think he did a very good first impression for the NFL. I really do. I think he was respected before he came here. And as a coach, even though they only won 4 games, there's a lot of good things where I think the word's going to travel across the NFL that he's player friendly. He's, he wants you to be the best you can be because he wants you to get paid. So I think he did okay. So then the next selling point is, do you want to play in this offense with this quarterback? Now, Zach Wilson to me is still unknown. So if you're an Allen Robinson or you're Devontae Adams, do you want to play with the Zach Wilson? And my answer, I think, is probably not. I think he still has so much to show. So I think those older top-level guys probably aren't the guys you're going to get to come here as a wide receiver. You're going to have to get the lower, a younger guy, maybe a little bit less proven that wants to take the next step with the Jets in terms of wide receiver, or you have to go to the draft. Same thing with tight end group. Does a guy want to come here and play with Zach Wilson? Now, the one thing is Mike LaFleur's offense for tight ends is very tight end friendly because you've seen what happened with Kittle and everything else. There's a lot of opportunities there. So maybe that's a selling point. But in terms of like the real big wide receivers, I don't think at this point the Jets are a desirable destination for their offensive linemen. I think they just want to get paid. I mean, I think you can sell the scheme. There are some guys already here. I mean, maybe you're excited to play with Vera Tucker and Mekhi Becton. That's always a good thing. A young offensive lineman, you may want to jump right in and say, listen, they have Elijah Moore, they got Michael Carter, they got Zach Wilson. I want to be part of this process, but I want to be paid well. You want a top guy, doesn't matter what team it is, they just want money. They don't care about the quarterback, they care about the money. So your skill position guys they think more about who the quarterback is. The other guys think about more as the money and then the opportunity to actually start. On the defensive side of the ball, this is, Saleh's a defensive guy, and the defense was awful last year. So, what kind of guys would want to come here? I mean, are they going to be selling the opportunity? Like C.J. Mosley said, listen, we're on our way up. Either you're with us or you're without us. Like, you're for us or against us. So you can sell the scheme. I think Saleh could probably sell a vision, and I think that would probably be an easier sell than the offense, to be completely honest with you, because you have, I think you have the energy and the passion of Saleh. You have the C.J. Mosleys. You have Quinn Williams. You have those guys, and you could probably put together a blueprint saying, listen, we're going to put you in this scheme, especially as a pass rusher. we're going to put you in this scheme and you're going to get X amount of sacks, especially when Carl Lawson comes back. As a corner or a safety, I don't honestly think the Jets are going to spend big money at a safety. I think they're going to get, just a solid guy back there, solid contributors. A corner, I think you could probably sell the vision of, listen, we're getting Carl Lawson back. We're going to add a pass rusher. We're going to have a very formidable front seven that's going to take the pressure off you and give you chances to make plays and, get to the Pro Bowl level. Now, they have a lot of young corners there as well that are emerging, which will be competition. But, I think that'll be an easier sell than the offense, which I probably said like 4 times now, right? I'm repeating myself. I'm tired. It's Saturday. I'm exhausted. So what is my overall answer? I think the Jets are better than they were last year in terms of marketing and marketable experience, but I think it's still going to be a little tough this year. But if they have to pay more to get guys here, the time is to spend the money now. You have to. You can't sit back and be like, not our year this year. You don't, like I said, it's not a 5-year plan here. You've got to get more aggressive and find ways. And the one interesting thing that Joe Douglas mentioned was trades. If you got to trade for game-breaking talent or legitimate talent, then do it. You have the resources. Get creative. If the free agent market isn't what you want, then find other ways to get guys. And obviously, there's the draft. I understand the draft, but the draft is a lot more unknown than free agency. Usually, when you get a free agent, you kind of know at least what to expect to a certain level. Now, of course, there's always free agent busts like Tremaine Johnson or Le'Veon Bell, whatever else. But there's also guys that can really be contributors day one. So we'll see what happens. I think the Jets are heading in the right direction. They may not make the big splash that we all hope for this offseason, but I think they'll make a lot of good moves. They're going to help this team take a next step. And then once you get to that 7 or 8 win benchmark, I think it's a little bit easier to sell your program. Coming off a 4-win season, it's not so easy, man. I mean, the Jets have been, 4 wins and 2 wins. And I mean, it's like, in the eyes of many, they're still a laughing stock. So you got to get rid of that stigma. You got to get rid of the stench of the Adam Gase experience and kind of show progress. So 4 wins to 7 wins, then I think that next year you can go after big money guys and be like, hey, you know what? We're this close to being a division contender, or playoff contender, and everything else. So let me know what you think. If the Jets are a place people want to come to or not. And I know I repeated myself like 3 or 4 times, but I really don't feel like redoing this video because I'm super tired. So have a good day. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you later.